Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Golub. I'm the CEO of Storj, and I'm very excited to welcome you to our Q3 2022 town hall. This has been a very eventful 3 months. A lot of progress across the board in terms of product, in terms of customers, partnerships, media awareness, revenue, growth, and of course, very excited to share it with the members of our community and with the public at large. We depend on our community for so many things, and it's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak to you. Before I get into things, forward-looking statement. This document contains forward-looking statements about our product, network, and business. The development, release, and timing of any features or functionality described for our products remains at the sole discretion of Storj Labs. The information herein is not a commitment to deliver any material, code, or functionality, or make promises about anything related to our business, and should not be relied upon in making purchase or other decisions. All right, with that out of the way, hopefully the rest of this is a little bit more exciting, including the fact that I'm joined by two of my distinguished colleagues, Catherine Johnson, who is our Chief People, Legal, and Compliance Officer, and John Gleason, who is our Chief Operating Officer. I'll be going through a brief executive summary, talking about then growth that we're seeing, roadmap and product updates. Catherine will be talking about token governance and compliance. And finally, John will talk about community. So, in a nutshell, this has been a great quarter. In particular, we're starting to see the signs that what we've been working on for the past several years, which is building an enterprise-grade, globally distributed product that provides storage that is compatible with the large hyperscalers, but can be faster, more secure, more durable, more reliable, more private, is really starting to engage with the customers. And of course, the fact that we can do so at 1/5 to 1/40th the price of the large hyperscalers is not a bad thing either. Another thing that was sort of key to our philosophy was that we wanted to be enterprise grade from the outset. While we are very excited by Web3, we're very excited by delivering things in a revolutionary way. For our customers, we want to make this evolutionary, and we want to make it possible for Web2 applications as well as Web3 applications to run well with us. And this quarter, we really started to see that pay off in terms of growth in users, paying customers, data stored, data egress, and revenue, with Lighthouse customers and Lighthouse partners talking about us. The, of course, normal success we'd want to see in terms of our indicators around durability, availability, and performance. We're all exactly where we needed to be. Of course, we're also committed to ensuring the long-term success of our node operators and continuing to be strong and a leader in governance as well. Particular interest of this quarter was the amount of engagement that we saw from partners. And what we know is that while we are providing a storage layer, frequently what customers are looking for is a complete solution that can serve their backup needs, that can serve their video distribution or their video editing needs or their scientific data distribution needs. And by working with partners, we're able to offer customers a complete solution that gives them really everything that they want, including all of the interfaces and functionality at the user end. Q4, honestly, more of the same. Continued work on channel and partner enablement, continued customer growth. A lot of the partners that we announced in Q3 will be scaling up significantly in Q4 and Q1. We've got a rich set of product announcements that are all detailed on our public roadmap, so I won't cover them here. And also, as John will be talking about, some evolution of our economic incentive structure to make sure that we ensure the long-term health and growth of the market, being good for customers and being good for our storage node operators. So, in a nutshell, this is what we are. We are enterprise-grade, globally distributed storage. As you can see, we price ourselves very competitively. It ends up being 1/5 to 1/40th the price of the large hyperscalers, multi-region by default, enterprise levels of availability, ridiculously high levels of durability. We've not lost a single file in over 3 years. Incredibly private. We have no ability to mine your data. And every day we start seeing more and more positive feedback about the level of performance that we're able to give, not only in the absolute levels that we're able to offer tens of gigabits per second of global throughput, which rivals or exceeds the many of the large hyperscalers, but we're also able to deliver that consistently around the world. So with most of the competition, customers will see major drop-offs once you move far away from the data center that you happen to be storing things in. Because we distribute data globally, people who are working in Kathmandu or Kinshasa can get the same kind of performance as people in Kansas City, which we think is a really powerful aspect of how we do things. So looking back at Q3, we track a number of statistics which we share publicly. Among the things that we're very excited to be seeing is the growth in paid data and paid egress. As you can see here, active users are up 26% quarter on quarter. The amount of paid data is up 112%, and paid egress quarter over quarter was up 162%. So very exciting growth there. We're starting to see a lot more of the high egress use cases balancing out lower egress use cases such as backup. We're starting to see things like video sharing, video editing, software distribution, scientific data distribution, all of which is resulting in very healthy movement on both the data and the egress side, which of course translates into much better economics for our storage node operators as well. Meanwhile, you can also see the continued excellence that we're able to achieve in terms of durability, availability, performance, security, essentially all of the abilities that matter to our customers and our prospects and to the people who trust our network. And for the past several quarters, we've been making this publicly available, this data publicly available at stat.storjshare.io. Going behind the numbers to talk about individual customers and partners, really excited that we're seeing healthy activity both in maybe more mainstream Web 2 applications, which are those on the left, and Web 3 applications, which are those on the right. In the Web 2 space, again, very excited to be working with partners such as Hammerspace, which offers a global control plane across multiple tiers of service, backup partners such as Comet, TrueNAS and IX Systems, which produces TrueNAS, one of the most popular high-volume NAS systems on the planet, with storage built in by default into the beta of their next release of software, and of course going into production as they go into production. Very excited about that. Individual customers such as Tribe Social, Innovo is one of our great video distribution partners. Also very excited that we've just been approved for Splunk, so that within the backup use cases, we now have the ability to backup log and other data that comes through Splunk. Again, very exciting to see this level of engagement on the Web 2 production side. And honestly, as we look at what we're doing in the Web 3 space, what we're seeing is that people are also valuing the fact that we are enterprise grade. And so for use cases such as distributing blockchain state, very important to people such as Pocket, Anchor. You can see the discussion by Chris Fuka from Anchor about the fact that we are offering that high globally consistent performance. Also very excited to be working with LivePeer, which is a video use case for video transcoding and video serving, which we'll talk about in a bit. Again, great to be sort of executing on both Web 2 and Web 3. We're starting to see growing mainstream acceptance and awareness. Analysts such as Forrester are now covering and working with us. And as I mentioned, we've had over a dozen webinars with mainstream partners such as IX Systems or Hammerspace. Of the 24 partners that we've signed up this year, really thrilled that they're willing to talk about their relationship with us and the benefits that we can bring to their customers. On the Web3 side of the house, what you see here is the Web3 Index, which is a listing ranked by activity and network statistics of the top decentralized infrastructure providers. And we're very excited to be listed among such great peer companies. Very excited, of course, that we now find ourselves at the top of this list. And also very excited that as you scan through this list, you'll see that we have partners with a number of these folks, including Pocket, including Akash, and including LivePeer. And speaking about LivePeer, just for a little bit more, again, they are a video transcoding at scale solution. As you can imagine, if you are in the business of distributing data, you not only want to make it available in lots of different formats, but you also want to make it quickly available for download and usage across the world. Really great combination between Storj providing S3 compatible storage layer with native support for streaming and the LivePeer solution. And the fact that LivePeer is decentralized in the same way that we are, we think is a really nice testament to the fact that they're not just decentralized elements, but full decentralized solutions available for forward-looking organizations. Progress on the product as a whole. I won't go through all of these in detail. You can see the healthy mix of work on making ourselves even more enterprise grade, usability, and of course, meeting the needs of our early lighthouse customers and our early lighthouse partners. For the past several quarters, we've been making our public roadmap available as well. So we want to be transparent in terms of token, transparent in terms of code, transparent in terms of network statistics, and transparent in terms of our open source roadmap. And that really is our total roadmap is our open source roadmap. And that is, again, available You can see the good and the bad, what we're shipping on time, what we're missing. Hopefully not too much of that. Any issues that we're having, and of course, this is a great place for the community to help provide input into what our roadmap should be. With that, I'd like to turn things over to Catherine Johnson to talk about token governance and compliance.
Thank you. So at each town hall, we provide the highlights from our token balances and flows report, which are published on our blog and provide detailed information on our tokens balances and flows in a given quarter. Our historic quarterly token balances and flows are all available on our blog, with the token report for Q3 2022 being published on our site this week. We have 3 years of regular quarterly reports, with reports posted on the blog and the highlights discussed as we're doing now in these regular town halls. Taking a look at the activity in the past quarter, you'll see that Storj used 18.5 million tokens for storage operations, with 0.5 million going to storage node operators, 2.1 million going to third-party service providers, 1.9 million used for salary and bonus. This includes payments to our Storj team members, which is part of a voluntary token salary program, and 14 million in the category of other, which included tokens to repurchase shares in the company. As of the end of the quarter, there were 183.8 million tokens in long-term lockups. In addition to the tokens in long-term lockup, as of the end of the third quarter, there were 9.4 million storage tokens in our operating supply for a total of 193.2 million non-circulating tokens. In addition to the 231.8 million tokens in circulation at the end of the quarter, the total storage supply is, as always, 425 million tokens. Turning now to long-term lockups. As we regularly report, Storj has a long-standing practice of time-locking tranches of tokens. As explained in the written reports, the purpose is to reduce the percentage of tokens under the control of a single organization and provide transparency and predictability. We provide the addresses here and in our published report each quarter for anyone, as they say, to trust but verify. Initially, we relocked all of our time-locked tokens every 6 months. Each tranche unlocks at the last day of the quarter. Beginning in 2019, we divided the time-lock reserve into 8 equal-sized tranches of 30.625 million tokens that unlock in successive quarters and relock respectively to the same quarter 2 years later. From time to time, we may decide to leave a tranche unlocked for operations. In 2020, we left one tranche unlocked, Tranche G, that we put into operational reserves, which left 7 cryptographically locked rolling tranches at the time. At that time, we began relocking the tranches over 7 quarters. As previously reported, we did not relock the tranche that unlocked at the end of the first quarter of this year, Tranche D, leaving 6 cryptographically locked rolling tranches. As announced in our last report, we are leaving Tranche F, which unlocked at the end of Q3, unlocked, which leaves 5 tranches. We do not plan to leave Tranche H, which unlocks at the end of the year, unlocked. We'll relock that one. We provide at least 60 days advance notice before leaving a tranche unlocked. And as explained in our written report, when a tranche is left unlocked, we transfer the tokens into our operating reserves to support the company's growth. Our written report with more details will be published on storj.io this week. I'll turn it over now for community updates.
Thank you, Catherine. We've got some exciting updates for our community of storage node operators. As many of you may know, we've started work on moving forward with an update to the storage economic model, and particularly the incentive design for our storage node operators and satellite operators on the network. Our goal here is to make some changes to the incentive model that we've anticipated would be coming for a while, but ultimately are becoming more and more urgent because we're seeing fairly substantial growth and adoption of the Storj DCS service, which is fantastic on the demand side. And so we want to make sure that as we transition into a new phase where we've identified product market fit in a few key use cases, both in Web 2 and Web 3, and we start to see rapid growth, that growth is sustainable. And so we want to make sure that we have a good, steady, stable storage node operation supply. We want to make sure that the unit economics are scalable, both for storage, future satellite operators, as well as storage node operators. And of course, we want to make sure that we have a healthy equilibrium between supply and demand. So not too many nodes for too little usage, or not too much usage for too many nodes. And all of this will ensure really the long-term growth and success of the network as a whole. So in terms of what you can expect, we've already started our communications plan and our outreach schedule. Primarily that's been in the discussion forum and also in using Twitter Spaces, and we'll be continuing the Twitter Spaces on a bi-weekly basis. So please join us at the @Storj handle every other Friday for updates and a live Q&A. We'll continue to actively participate in discussions in the community on forum.storj.io. And for those who aren't participating in the Twitter Spaces or the forum, we will begin outreach on email as well, because we really want to make sure we get the maximum number of storage node operators with our communications plan. There may be some smaller changes along the way that we implement, particularly to the communications plan, but ultimately this will result in a new economic white paper being published for review in the first quarter of 2023. And so we expect to get a lot of feedback on that white paper, and that will help us ultimately finalize the changes we'll make. We'll release a final version of that white paper and then work on those changes in that economic model. So in terms of how you can help and how you can get involved in the process, we absolutely love the feedback that we get from the community today, and we're looking for more of it. So please join us on the Twitter Spaces. If you follow Jacob Willoughby and myself, we will be continuing on our Twitter Spaces and also just publishing regular updates and conversations about the topic. We'd love it if you could ask questions before the Twitter Spaces at forum.storj.io. We've created a space. If you go to the homepage, you'll find it under announcements for asking questions about the Twitter Spaces. Please get those questions in and we'll be happy to answer them live. And also, we'll be able to support conversations within the forum on those questions as well. And as you're providing those ongoing questions and suggestions and feedback, we've gotten a lot of great ideas and a lot of input so far. And frankly, we would just love to continue to grow our active members in the community and keep that feedback and those suggestions coming. Of course, the biggest thing you can do to help is spread the word that Storj DCS is a reliable, secure, private, and performant cloud object storage that's a great alternative to Amazon Web Services S3 product at an 80% lower cost point. So this is a fantastic service. We're seeing great growth and adoption, and we thank our community of storage node operators for making that possible. So big shout out and a big thanks to the community, and we look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you.